Okay, I guess second video of the day. It is freezing out here, people. It is freaking frosty. It's like noon. Oh, you are coming out.
Huh?
I said you are coming out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. It's so cold.
My blood is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not coming out though. I got the children's hospital tomorrow morning.
You don't have to.
But I will continue to work on this on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, providing it's not real icy. Like yesterday was okay, I could manage, but this is just a little chilly for me.
Chill.
Breathe.
Chill. Yeah.
You know I'm recording.
I am. Yeah.
It's facing that way.
It's all good.
You're a handsome man. I do so love you for this, Markane. You don't even know. Like I don't want to sympathize, feel sorry for you, and play into that, but like this is not fair. Anyway, so you're gonna put a couple of hours in then, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so just leave all that, and I will. As you can see, I'm making it nice, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
It looks good.
I was working on it.
I can see that. You put a lot of effort in.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No. I'm just out here doing my thing. I saw you. Said hi.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you for running for Amari, man. You guys, you know what? Can I before I turn this off? Mm-hmm. Back in the day when Uncle John was around, we lived in Wally's house. Remember? Mm-hmm. We had a mattress we had to ditch, right? And he said, "Oh, Uncle John, the person who never commits crime, right, or does anything wrong." He goes, "Well, why not take this mattress and go take it by the school and put it into their, big bin dump, right?" And I said, "Okay, John, sure." So it was a midnight move. So we waited till midnight, pretty much. And him and I, in those days, he could walk a bit, right? And we were bumbling through the path. Remember the path, right? Mm-hmm. Bumbling, to take this mattress. And he wanted to take this mattress, Markane, and put it under a car like a truck, like you have.
Weird.
And leave it there, right? Versus taking it all the way to the school. Anyway, the point of that is as the years went by and, we'd reminisce and we'd talk and we'd start laughing. I said to Andre yesterday, when you came to the window and you said that Amari was choking, and I said, "What?" And you said Amari was choking. By the time I turned around, you and Tisha beelined into the house so freaking fast that I didn't even catch up to you. That is one of those moments when you look back and you reminisce, because for you guys to hear that and drop everything immediately and run as fast as you did into the house to get Amari because you knew I was over there digging in the dirt. Oh my God. That's one of those moments when you look back and I'm so proud of you guys, right? Heart of steel, that's all it is, right? Your heart of steel kicked in, and boom. Yeah, but everybody's heart was really pumping then.
It was scary.
Yeah, it is scary, that's the thing. Okay, so I'm cooking today for Amari for the Children's Hospital, and I will pick up with this on Tuesday, assuming it's not too cold, but other than that, I can do that.
Not a problem.
And I've already flattened out the big compost box at the end for anything that you want in there, wood, branches, whatever, miscellaneous. And then if Mrs. Gill wants a few of those branches off, not the branches, I know you're not going to cut the branches, you'll just trim it up a little higher so they can regrow, right? And you
what? Off what?
Off the spruce.
Yeah.
And then just cover it up over everything that you've put on top of that cardboard and then be done with it.
All right.
And then we'll deal with that, because that's a beautiful compost, that one. Okay, goodbye.
All right.
Okay, this is exactly what I mean. When he spoke to my landlady, and she probably told him to get rid of these toys. It's like they're evicting the yard first before they can get into the house with the next bin and evict the inside. She's telling him to get rid of everything in the yard. These are toys, people. These are Fisher-Price toys. You can see it's not, that was together. Alea Main and Kyrie could have played with it. Look at this. That was under the tree, out of the way, in the back. And my landlady is saying get rid of the toys. The city says get rid of the toys. Doesn't matter how much the toys cost. Could be 200, 300, 400, 50 bucks, 25 bucks, doesn't matter. Just get rid of them. Doesn't matter whether there's kids on the property or not. Get rid of them, right? And he's taking it literal and throwing it out. Yeah. Do you see how nicely it's placed there? That's a little thing for cars and stuff for Kyrie to play with. But the landlady's in the back telling him to throw it all out. And he's doing it. Now this broken down play children's table, that one I can see maybe going because the top part, but this big one and that little green one, not to mention what I can't fucking see in there. There's a little washing machine and a dryer set, little kitchen set with an ironing board for a lame, gone. Gone. Fucking gone. Has no value. Right? It's garbage. Yeah, okay. Tell that to Kyrie. Tell that to Alea May. Tell that to me. Well, why? What's their desperation? What's the desperation here, people? They have, in that yard, a little motor fucking vehicle that the kids can run around in, tucked off to side somewhere. But I guess they're Syrians. They're allowed to have it, right? But not us. No, we've got our landlord saying, gut the yard. Gut it of everything. Okay, so I'm definitely shaky. As I'm here now in the kitchen. And I know if I go and I say something to my son about what he's doing, he'll say Mrs. Gill told him to do it. Because the city said get rid of all the toys. Okay? There's a dollar value to that stuff, people. And if my landlady, and I know she did, said get rid of it, get rid of everything. The city said get rid of everything. Everything. Her son said it. Get rid of everything. And she knows I have grandkids. She's seen Sierra, she has seen Tisha with little Leia May and Kyrie. She knows I have grandkids that come here and play. But they're not allowed to have what I just showed you in the back in the corner in the yard because the city wants us to get rid of everything, so she says. This is half of an eviction. This is what this is, people. Because they want housing for the immigrants or for the UN soldiers. It doesn't matter which one, because they're going to get the money one way or another when it comes to full rent. Based on the corruption that pushes 7 households times 2, 14 households out into the streets with no affordable housing as they're going on to the attack, starting with me as the example to keep the other ones in check until their time comes to be evicted. But because they're already plugged into the city with that Syrian program that the government of British Columbia, Canada props up, chances are they'll just be transitioned from that house to another house where in that other house that family was evicted through this very same process that I'm being evicted out of. And they'll use the yard to start as just one method with that gang stalking technique, because it's a technique. Pluck one in here, kidnap one over there, have one murdered off over there, have another one lured to their death and murdered over there, have one go blind, have one get injured at birth, treat another one like a field nigger. Keep the family fighting if they can, because you're shaking with stress. bone broth for Amari. I have some carrots here that aren't grinding up very well. So I'm going to start cooking these up now a little longer before I grind them, because I have to prepare food for him for tomorrow at the children's hospital, because I don't give him those drinks anymore, which people will use against me, even though he's starting to have bowel movements within a week from eating versus no bowel movements for 4 weeks going on 5 weeks as he's crying out in fucking pain. And even if you use their X-Lax or their Emolax or their laxative, you know, it still doesn't work and clogs him up to where, you know, his intestines can explode inside of him because of those drinks. Yeah. Because of those drinks. But now, he's been pooing a little better. Still hard for him. But not like what it was. I need to just cook this all up all at one time. Just soften up the carrots before I blend it up. And he's going to have some now, and then some tomorrow I'll take with me. As I'm shaking. And of course I'm dizzy, right, because of my eyes. Just the stress of it all. As I'm helpless to stop my son from doing what he's doing. Because even if I went and said, no, 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 you know, it was enough you took down the playhouse and all that other stuff, but now you're taking out everything in there. And I know why. Because she told him to get rid of it. Well, there's a dollar value on that shit, people. So I live in a house for 14 years, and my grandkids have absolutely no toys to play with in the yard because they were thrown out by my landlord, the city, and they used my son to do it. They used my son to do it. They're cagey. This is called being cagey. The city only writes toys. They don't tell you what toys. They just say toys. They don't say broken toys, used toys, or new toys. They just say toys. They leave it open for debate. And then along comes the 84-year-old landlady who my family has been taking advantage of for the last 14 years of her fucking life, and says, well, it says right here, the city wants every toy gone. Get rid of them all, Marcane. Get rid of all the planter pots, Marcane. And while you're doing it, make sure you cut down and trim off the tree for me. Even though it's already been fucking trimmed. And my son's not going to say anything. Fuck no. He's running for his life right now, people. Yeah, he doesn't know if the master is going to house him, shelter him from the elements after they're done working him to death. Well, near death. He's out there now doing this. He came out. You seen it. You didn't. Well, yeah, maybe you seen him for a second. He got these big-ass fucking bags underneath his eyes. And he's got to go to work tomorrow. Outside. Perhaps even climbing a tree.
Yeah, probably gonna be climbing a tree.
Yeah, probably climbing a fucking tree. All worn out at the direction of my landlord saying, throw out everything. Everything. Who cares if the kids can play on that? Who cares if Kyrie can run a little car on whatever my son put in there? Who cares? Who cares if they can't plant a fucking something in a planter pot? Because there are no more planter pots on the property. Because my landlord made sure each and every last one of them was fucking gone. And then wants to sit up there and blame the city. As the son is saying, I'm taking advantage of his elderly mother and so-called father. While each and every one of those people within that fucking family unit, in terms of the Gills, did not absolutely one thing to help me with this fucking yard in 14 years. All they ever did was use the city. All they ever did was use the city against me, like they do with, I guess, probably other tenants, being that they own like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8 fucking houses. So they're good at their game, people. They've been in it a long time. They've got their connections within the city. Some of those people that work as bylaw officers are family members, whether by blood or whether by marriage. And if they're not family members, they're taking fucking bribes. Well, the city council itself doesn't give a jack shit, because the province gave them the green light to kick out thousands of people at one time out into the streets, whether they're coming in from houses or whether they're coming in whole apartment blocks. Because then it frees up all the little children so they can be scooped up by the Ministry of Children and Family Development and stuffed into fucking what do you call those things? Foster homes to prop up, like I said, that so-called middle-class fucking lifestyle, tax-free. Tax-free. And if they come in disabled like Amari, it's a $4,000 fucking paycheck. Every month. Tax-free. Where can you get a job for $4,000 a month, tax-free, every month? Well, come to British Columbia, Canada. They'll snap you up like prime real estate to look after all these children that are being flushed out of their houses as their toys in the yard are being thrown out at the direction of the landlord who likes to hide behind the city. Toys. Be Pacific. Not get rid of all of them, Marcane. All of them. City said get rid of them. All. And the nigger that he is, he'll follow the fucking directions because he doesn't want to lose his housing. Doesn't that sound familiar? With a field nigger? Work out there from morning to sunset. And then on Sunday, to which my son is out there working, he doesn't even get Sunday off. Sing. Oh, God will set us free. Yeah, right. You're working with a religion that doesn't even believe in God. There is no set you free. Could have left a couple of things. Could have left what I showed you. They weren't hurting nothing. A couple, 2, 3 things for my little grandkids to have memories before they go to the fucking island and never see me or Mari and Andre ever again. They could have had those memories, but my son took that away because what? Is my son now gonna hide behind the landlady and say she told me to do it because the city said it? I mean, we already know he didn't want the playhouse. But what was there after it was all said and done and whatever, they could have played with it this spring and this summer. They could have had those memories, but they were robbed of their memories. There was no value to those memories. Because there was no value in the toys. From a city's perspective, or a landlord's perspective, that have an ulterior motive for this property to house an immigrant family, or two families, or the freaking UN soldiers. It doesn't matter. They're all fucking immigrants, people. With kickbacks from the province. No wonder why I'm shaking. I'm shaking even more now. My heart is broken. Literally, it's fucking broken. I have nothing to offer my grandkids. What little bit I had left has been robbed from them and me. Robbed. And my eyes have gotten worse since I've been working outside. Yeah, well, we know that. The harder I work, doesn't matter where it is, what it is, the faster I go blind. Right? So I don't know. How do I put a dollar value on this stuff in a fair way? If it's garbage, I have no problem with that. If it's completely on those last legs and things are cracking and it's busted and bent and rusted too much or whatever, fine, fuck. But if children, all it takes, people, is a little bit of fucking soap and water with a scrub brush with that shit. That shit was designed to be outside. It's been under a tree, my God. There was no reason to not leave that there. Either my son is being a fucking dickhead and going behind my back and throwing out more shit just because he's doing it, or it's my landlord telling him to throw it out because now she's been put on this pedestal by the city at 84 years old, even though she's the victim, right? Everybody's playing her off as the victim, including her own fucking son, right? But yet she's in power of authority to tell us to get rid of everything, including planter pots where my grandkids can't even plant a fucking flower if they wanted to, or maybe try and grow something in that planter pot because my landlord is saying no. The city is the city. Now she's hiding behind the fucking city, saying it says right here, right, pots, get rid of them all, get rid of them all, you can't even have a black one. It doesn't matter if it looks brand fucking new. Just get rid of it because the ones that she was pointing at for him to get rid of look brand fucking new. So that's what he's doing. He's taking stuff that looks fine, just a little soap and water, piling it in there so then when they drop off the fucking bin, they can scoop out what they want and they can recycle it and either sell it or put it on one of their fucking properties when they move in the immigrant family with the toddlers. Seriously, man. And then as a gift, they'll drop off a few fucking planter pots that would cost you $40, $50, $60 depending on the fucking size of it. And sell them off to make even more money, or drop them off for that fucking immigrant family to plant flowers in. And it didn't cost the city a damn thing. Or whoever is going to rummage in that shit. Seriously. If I had to replace the shit that he's throwing out right now, okay, that is perfectly fine for Leia May and Kyrie to use, including planter pots, or even me for that matter next year. Blind as a bat or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe Andre wants to plant something. Maybe Tisha would like, if Marquand wanted to plant, but he's not allowed to keep it. Because it's a pot. Planter pot. That's how much authority my landlord has right now with what these people have put her up on. Go in there, tell him what to do, get rid of everything. Don't worry, your son will confirm it. So she's saying, get rid of. And he's like, holy shit, okay, fine, no problem, I'm not arguing. I know that I have no choice. I know that my life is on the line. I know that I'm a fucking field nigger, but I won't accept it because what if I do? Then what happens to me psychologically? But, you know, it's just the sign of the times, Mom. What can I do? Nothing. 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 Because if I ask him, why did you throw it out? He'll say she did it. And I believe him. Even if he wanted to fucking do it. But I said don't, and he was willing to leave at least those couple of little things, which he did, because he never threw them into the pile. The only reason he's getting rid of them now is because she said, get rid of it, there's the bin, you have no excuse. So they've turned my landlady into a tyrant, half evicting a house, using the tenants to evict themselves, depriving the children of freedom in a yard to play on something that's solid and easy to keep clean when you need it, as well as preventing them from learning how to plant things unless it's in the fucking dirt. It doesn't matter the kind of dirt that you're using as long as there's no planter pots. Because we live in some backward freaking world here where planter pots are a fucking dangerous substance, even though we've got fucking fentanyl everywhere on every block in the city of Surrey, killing off people for convenience purposes so that body parts can be trafficked to start the process all over again with another one of those funky fucking buildings that they used to launder that money in, if they're not building monster homes for themselves. There you go. My grandkids have no outside yard toys to play with. Nope. No, they don't. Absolutely none. And then we wonder why I'm shaking. These people have never respected us. If they would have respected us, people, all the taps would have been fixed before I moved in. If they would have respected us, people, all the outlets would have been changed and safe when I moved in. If they respected us, people, the porch would have been in a better situation versus leaking like a sieve every freaking year, where my shit has been destroyed every year because of that porch, not including what goes on in that garage. If they respected us, people, they would have had their plumbing issue with that fucking pipe in the bathroom that they ended up breaking the mainline pipe with, and then whatever, you know that story, right? That all would have been dealt with before we moved in, versus having the clog up on what is it called, Christmas Eve. Right on Christmas Eve or whatever, the clog fucking backed up and it was stayed, and she didn't get it snaked out until after January 6th or something dumb like that. She knew she had that fucking problem there before we moved in. I brought my family in here on December 15th, and by December 24th, we couldn't do dishes upstairs, we couldn't do dishes downstairs, we couldn't do fucking laundry because of that pipe. And then because it was so-called Christmas and New Year's, they didn't snake it out until January 6th or 7th or 8th or whatever the fuck it was. So we went like almost 2 weeks without a sink to wash dishes in or laundry. Up and down, in terms of Auntie Joan and everybody who was downstairs, including who was upstairs. If they were fucking respected us, people, I wouldn't have moved into the type of yard that I moved into. But with the way the house was, you can't be surprised that the yard was the way it was. because it was neglected since 1992 when they purchased it. It took that long from 1992 until I moved in 2010 to come into that fucking neglect. And then I had to argue and bleed and beg for my landlady to fix the fucking leaky faucets, to fix the fucking sparking plugs upstairs, downstairs, to fix the fucking pipe that kept clogging every 9 months, 12 months like clockwork, to the point where she started telling me that I had to pay for the fucking plumber, even though, to snake it out, even though it was her fucking plumbing that was clogging up before I even moved in. She's never fixed the fucking porch. I've had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of shit ruined on that fucking porch, not to mention what's been ruined in that fucking garage because of a rotten porch when I moved in. I have videos to prove that the porch was fucking leaking like a sieve when I fucking moved in. And they refused to fix it because they said, I don't live outside. No, contrary to that, I lived in their yard for almost 12 years of my life. 10 of them hardcore. As my kids were being murdered for those kickbacks. As Uncle John was being medically kidnapped so that he could be looked after under lock and key, thrown away like a dirty secret so they could steal his fucking money and then say that they were looking after him because he was old. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit, people. There's a lot of old people, including my neighbor out here, who are just being kicked out of their fucking houses with no place to go. Huh? I don't think she has a superannuation life insurance policy that somebody can try and steal, right? In terms of, you know, the system and the way it's set up with the fucking healthcare workers and just the whole 9 yards like they did with John, right? But if she had a life insurance policy from the fucking government, like a superannuation life insurance policy, and somebody got their sights on her after she's kicked out of her fucking house, it's very easy for her to get sick, end up in the hospital. She's 70. She's going to have a fucking nervous breakdown, okay, when she loses her house. She's the one that puts everything up and makes it immaculate, as the fucking landlord is evicting 7 fucking houses in a row. All right, this shit's not funny, people. All right, so she gets finally kicked out. She loses everything, 25 years of hard work. She can't find fucking housing. She's living in her fucking van. But she's got a superannuation life insurance policy that they can steal. Superannuation, that's government. That's big bucks. And then what? She gets a cold. She goes to the fucking hospital. They tell her that she has pneumonia. They don't let her fucking go. They start doping her up. And then they start wheeling and dealing in back fucking rooms like they did with Uncle John. And they conspire to somehow put her in some temporary care ward because she's not well enough to go home. Not that she has a fucking home anymore. And if the government's gonna take their fucking money and lock her up into an old folks home because she's just too fucking old to be on her own now, because that's how they do it out here, people. They'll detain her illegally in that fucking old Yale Center where Uncle John was illegally detained, as they stuff fucking OxyContin in them to keep them fucking quiet, as they put him in fucking diapers. As they plot and scheme how to get their mail transferred or whatever so that, you know, they can eventually make them pay for their stay at the long-term fucking care facility as they're scrambling around how to fucking steal their fucking money and then lock them up in the old folks' home and make them pay for it. And then whoever's running the rest of that money, if there's a superannuation life insurance policy involved, you can kiss that fucking goodbye. And then she dies. And there will be nobody there to speak on her behalf. Because they're already fucking dead too. But you don't notice it because there's all these immigrants walking around. It looks like there's a full fucking community of people. Yeah, but look at them. They're immigrants. 3/4 of them can't even speak fucking English. Never mind read and write it. But that doesn't matter. It's on the numbers. There's enough people in Surrey. Nobody's dying. Everybody's living a long, happy fucking life. Yeah, right. My landlord, 84 years old, doing the bidding of the city. as she's bidding for herself and hiding behind the city as her son is putting her in a victim position. Okay. And my children have been robbed of the last 1 or 2 years of their time in fucking Canada and have absolutely nothing to crawl on as a fucking toddler or a young child like a 5 or a 6 or a 7-year-old and just be free as a child to play under a tree on fucking Fisher Price freaking yard toys that were made to stand the test of time. They don't get to take those memories with them to fucking wherever Tisha's running away to. Because she wants to leave this corruption for herself. From her perspective. In regards to, she'll never be able to afford a house. How could she? The Punjabis own them all. And if they don't own them all, it's the fucking Chinese, depending on the district you live in. And if it's not that, it's the fucking few Muslims that happen to squeak through the fucking cracks. You know, sell a little heroin on the side, build up that cash so that you got some money as you're cashing in on the, subsidies and the little programs and everything else that can prop you up as a fucking immigrant family so that you get to become a homeowner and be better than everybody else. My landlady wants me mad. She justified me being upset. My son said, because I said, it's already cut, Mrs. Gill. Like, what more do you want? Because otherwise you're looking at more branches. And my son already told me, if you cut off too many branches at this right, the more you cut, the more you make them, they're going to fall down. Oh no, I want, and my son said, she's just upset. No, she's always mad. She wants me mad, people. She's going out of her way to make me mad so that she can be the 84-year-old victim to that madness that she creates. Because she's still trying to buy love from her fucking mean-ass son. And the fake one at that and anybody else in her fucking memory. So, in her family. So that when she dies, they can all come out of the fucking woodwork and say, what did grandma leave me? What did my mother leave me? But they got it all figured out already anyway. So they don't fight. Right? As they let her have her last days of glory kicking my family in our teeth. So she can make more money for them. Ultimately. Because she's not going to live that long. Give her another 10 more years. Maybe she might make it to 94. Maybe she might be one of the lucky ones. 105 years old, still running around destroying lives with her fucking politics. Right? They got her out there at 105 years old kicking out fucking tenants. They got her out there running around in the fucking yard at 105 years old saying, get rid of everything because the city said so. Who cares about your grandkids? Who cares about you wanting to plant something in a fucking planter pot? Who cares about, just do my bidding. And when the weeds come back like a vengeance, you make sure you keep your ass out there because I'm a 105-year-old fucking landlord that said so. Because if you don't keep my yard weedless, then you're useless. Because you're just a fucking field nigger anyway. Okay? So that she can die at 106 years old, knowing that her family will love her because she left them wealth. Be a broke-ass Punjabi and see how far it gets you under their caste system. you'd be treated like a Sierra Chorney. Well, the rest of them lie to themselves saying, oh, but that's okay because the government will take care of them when they end up out on the streets and mentally and physically destroyed. After the wealthy Punjabi kicks out the trashy Punjabi, the broke-ass Punjabi. Unless, of course, maybe they're slated for fucking body parts and they just mysteriously die. Because you know they're not going to throw that away in the garbage. Fuck no. And you know what? Honestly, I already think some of these poor Punjabis or whoever immigrants coming in, I think some of their I do believe some of these people are being targeted for body parts. I do. I do. I don't think it's just black people. I don't think it's just white people. I don't think it's just native people. But I do believe there are, you know, the select, the cherry picking, like they cherry pick with the rest of us, right? I do believe that some of these immigrants that are coming in real fucking poor, that are from India or wherever, right, that kind of look like them, you know what I mean, in terms of brown or something, or whatever, I don't know. I just know that I believe in my heart, honest, right to the very soul, that some of these people are coming in not realizing that they're just being set up to be harvested, and because they're coming in so vulnerable, there's no way for them to fucking fight back, even if they even thought such a thing was happening. But they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about coming to a country, trying to build a life and all this other shit. But if you don't come in with fucking money, you're a nobody. And the only thing that cares about, the only thing they fucking care about, I'm going to end it on this because I can go around and around in circles, is money. That's all they fucking care about. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Okay, you don't care about my grandkids. You're using my son like a fucking field nigger to do your dirty fucking work. You're hiding behind the city, or the city's hiding behind you. They're using each other as a tool to destroy my family for that last fucking push home, like a home run, right? And there was something I was going to say, but I'm so upset. I'm not feeling that great. That I don't even know now. I don't even know now. All I can think about is those toys outside that would have been great. I was looking forward to having some of that stuff cleared out of there so that they could actually play on it for a year or two before Tisha leaves. But of course, they can't, because my landlady made sure that my son understood to get rid of it, because the city said get rid of all the toys. Get rid of all the planter plots, including the one that you brought home that if you had to go and buy it would cost you at least $40 fucking plus tax, because it looks brand new. If that's not being treated like a nigger, I don't know what is. Get rid of your stuff, because you'll never not have another house like this. Start selling your books in 2015 so that we can come back in 2025 and really have a heyday in terms of making it real easy to throw you out. But we had to build a case against you first, so the only way we could do that was with the fucking yard, as we neglect the house. Didn't fix that. Didn't fix that down there. Didn't fix that. Didn't fucking fix that. Sure in hell didn't fix the weed problem. Right? I'm not taking responsibility for their fucking weeds. Fuck no. My son can go out there and fucking spray Roundup. Just make sure you cover yourself up good and don't get poisoned by it. So that when the next fucking people move in, they'll grow their shit in fucking Roundup. How about that? Because Roundup doesn't work. It only works for a little while. 106 years old. Finally, my landlady will retire because she'll die. And her family won't be able to use her as a tool, as a card, to say that we, the tenant, whatever tenant it is, because they've got more than one, is abusing and using the landlord, who is 105 years old, as she's evicting them for more money, so that her family will love her. So that her family will love her forever, because what she left them. As she conspires and works hard at destroying my family. Even if it's just a few memories over the next 2 years, with something that wasn't bothering anybody tucked off into the corner under a tree. Okay, I'm back. I heard him, I asked him. I said, is there a reason why you're putting that out there? That little great green thing? I mean, the other thing is already all busted up. That could have sat there for a couple of years before my daughter left the country. Okay. But that little green thing would have been easy to pull out. And Kyrie could have played with it right along with a lame for at least a couple of years. I asked him, why is that there? Like, is it like, right? You know the first thing that came out of his mouth? Well, right after Mrs. Gill came and got RANT and said, clean up the yard. He said, do you want me to go inside? I said, no, but like, right? I can't say nothing to him because he's completely highly defensive. I said, well, you do realize, right? He said, do you want me to go inside? Do I have to, whatever, right? Explain myself as to the pressure that he's under because of what Mrs. Gill's been, because she's been coming every day, 2 days and 3 days, 2 days in a row, going around dictating. Even though she's the victim, everybody's abusing her. She's running around dictating, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of it, clear it all out, get garbage, get rid of it all. Don't even leave 3 fucking black planter pots that would cost $40 each because the city said get rid of them. So she's the victim, going around saying get rid of everything, and then blaming the city for it. As her son is threatening us. And my son is doing the bidding as if he was a field nigger to these masters, because there's more than one, whipping him on his back. Now, does he see himself like that? I don't know. He's in his 30s. I'm in my 60s. It could be a generational thing. Also, too, this camera might break out. Don't forget, we're also having to deal with energy weapons that go through this yard, to which we can't see them with our naked eye. But if I was recording all this crap going on outside, I'm pretty sure the camera would pick them up. Fucking right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I do believe these energy weapons affect eyesight, your body, stamina, or whatever. I'm like shaky. I've been shaky from the moment I woke up. Yeah. And needless to say, my eyes are worse. Right? Just for the very fact that they got me digging in the dirt in a fridge. Basically. Frozen dirt at that. Yeah. Okay, so I plugged it in, so I got a few more minutes before I get this up. And this will go up today, by the way. Okay, this is 2 videos today. The one I did this morning reading that crap, and this one. To which I want to say, I am going into my cubby. I'm grabbing up one of those green books that I have. I'm going to put Province of British Columbia, Canada, and City of Surrey on it. lawsuit. Whether I get there or not remains to be seen, but besides that point. And I'm going to start right with, I have a few sections within some sort of a legislation where it gives the city the power to, I can't remember what it's called, expropriate the land so that they can build a highway in. In this situation, it would be expropriating the land in partnership with property developers and homeowners to milk whoever's living on that land until finally they're thrown out so they can build more housing that nobody can afford, so that they can bring in the immigrants to supplement those rents, right? I'm just saying. And whatnot. And then I am going to...
Is it hot?
No, because no, it's fine.
Okay, because it just smells warm.
Yes, it is warm because the carrots and the squash with the bone broth was warm, but when I ground up the chicken with the chicken broth, it was cold, but I merged the two together, so it made it warm. Because the squash and the carrots were hot when I did them. So, yeah, feed it to him as much as he wants, but make sure he's sitting up after the fact in case he burps so he doesn't gag on the reflux of it, okay? Gotta watch those gags, you know, you don't know where they're coming from. So anyway, outside, you know, I said to him, why? Why that, of all things? Do you want me to go in? I don't want to have to rehash what, you know, we're dealing with here. In other words, the landlord told him yesterday when she had him underneath that fucking tree to get rid of that shit, because right there on the paper it says toys, and the city wants toys out of the yard. He didn't want to remind me of that. He already told me we're helpless. We're at the mercy of God knows what. And there is no mercy. It's not the agenda. And I said, yeah, okay, well then I'm going to put a dollar value on it. Because that was perfectly fine. There was a few things out there that were perfectly fine. And I'm going to start it from January 1st when she told him to start doing yard work. And he went out there like a few days later and started working in the yard. And forgot his tools outside. So that was just an excuse for them to say, tools. He moved a bunch of planter pots to get them out of the way because, you know, and she went on the tack and said get rid of each and every one of them now. Yeah. And he's just accommodating her while she's hiding behind the city as everyone's using her as the victim because she's 84, but they're allowing her to power trip, I suppose, in her last days. But she's a Punjabi, so if she needed a heart or a kidney or a fucking, what is that called, liver or lungs or whatever she needed, she could live to 106 years old and nobody would bat an eye. And she'd still be running around at 105 years old telling people to get rid of their stuff because it makes more money through those backroom deals or whatever the fuck is going on by that time. I'm just saying, that would be 22 years from now, right? Who knows? But she's still running around. Get rid of this. Get rid of it all. City says, get rid of it all. Well, I'm going to put a dollar amount on my son's time. From the fucking first moment she asked him to start doing something and then came in with the city so that she could play the victim as she comes in here and tells him to get rid of fucking everything and expects him to act like and work like a fucking nigger. Well, not act like a nigger, but work like a nigger. For free. As she looms her house over our heads and reminds us that we're on the edge of being evicted because of the city. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to put I'm going to get that book today and I'm going to start fucking putting a dollar amount on this. And then I'm going to look into my videos and I'm going to look back. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to put a dollar amount with my hours put into this yard. And a guesstimated amount of what I paid for things along the way. Whether it was men to build the fucking greenhouse with the roof, the basic upper frames with the windows, you know, the big ones put in. Not the little ones. I did the little ones, but I had to pay what I paid. I paid over $1,000 for that fucking shed in the back just to be built so that it was strong and sturdy. And then I did the fucking rest. And I'll put that in and my time that I did for that. Not to mention all the weeding. I'm going to put in the fucking hours. I'm going to sit and calculate the hours over the next 2 months or whatever it is in terms of the hours I put in and now the hours that my son is putting in. As they got him demolishing everything and throwing out children's dreams. You have to remember that this is not unusual with these landlords because when I was living at Manpreet's house, or Manjeet, I don't know which one. I think Manjeet is my daughter, my landlord's daughter-in-law, Manjeet. Where Manpreet Ball was that fourplex that was running that illegal grow-op. That where I ended up almost getting electrocuted, and I had to call the city in to inspect the wiring or what the plumbing. It was the plumbing because anyway they fucking put a no work order on that house because it wasn't even fucking grounded. And then they discovered a grow op. And because they were starting to the city made them to start do things, and they got into the next suite because that's where it was all being controlled from in terms of stealing my hydro, because the breaker box was in the basement on the other side of the duplex where the so-called owner lived, as they were flipping the fucking breakers, or you know, they had the house wired to run a grow-op, okay? And they were making me pay for hydro as a quarter of my upper floor had no hydro because it was being redirected to their fucking grow-op. As I almost got electrocuted because of their shady fucking plumbing that they had that ended up snapping and then shooting into the dryer on the other side of the thing. And water was flooding my laundry room, which was gross in terms of a moldy fucking laundry room, because they used mold growth in that laundry room with a really moldy dresser to hide the smell of the fucking grow-op. Like, it was really fucking shady, people, what was going on in there. So I went around, and then that's when I seen the water shooting into a dryer that was on. The water was literally shooting into the dryer as the dryer was on. And I called out Bobby, who was a fucking drug addict that liked to climb the roof and look down the fucking vent in the bathroom that, you know, whether we had lights at the time or whether they disconnected it for their grow up, and we had to sit on this toilet in the fucking dark in the main bathroom as they were stealing our hydro. He was on the roof, and I can almost guarantee it, looking down the fucking vent as people were sitting on their fucking toilets, as we were sitting, Joan, John, me, whoever, kids, all of us sitting on this fucking toilet with him running around out on the fucking roof having his little episodes because he was a heroin fucking addict, right? Anyway, I called out Bobby because there was no one else to call for because, right? And he come running in and he wanted me to go in there and fucking disconnect shit. You know, turn off fucking pipe, like, you know, because they had these plastic pipes that were clamped onto each other, and you know, you turn off here, turn off there. Nothing turned off, right? He didn't want to fucking go in there. I had to go in there, people. I'm turning, didn't work because he's saying turn that. You know, and I'm like, holy shit, this water is, something's bad's going. So I went in and I fucking turned it off. That didn't work. Fucking, I'm looking. Okay, finally I got the fucking water to stop shooting out through that hose into the fucking dryer as I'm standing in a pile of fucking water that deep, 2-3 inches deep in the laundry room. As it was seeping into my fucking, if that thing would have, somehow if that dryer would have got that water, you know how electricity and water don't mix? that electricity would have went all the way into the laundry room and killed me in my own fucking laundry room. Never mind, almost killed me in their fucking laundry room, because the Bobby was probably thinking about the next time he could crawl the fucking roof so that he could look down the bathroom vent, spy on them as people were sitting on the fucking toilet. Those were my landlords as they were running their grow-op. Anyway, the city kind of caught wind that something was funky about the whole shit, right? So, long story short, you know, they had a family member, a heroin addict fucking electrician, with his long-ass white beard, with his little fucking turban hanging on his side, acting like he was some leprechaun or something, when in fact he was a fucking addict. And he came in and he started busting up all the drywall in the laundry room because they got caught, right? And the city wanted to see what was behind the fucking walls, eh? I suppose. And anyway, what was the point of that? He went next door, started disconnecting things on the ceiling because the house wasn't grounded. Well, it's a fourplex, right? Duplex, cut into four. It wasn't grounded, so whatever reason, he disconnected something in that suite up on the ceiling, and because he left the wires open, Carrie, the mother to Paige, Dallas, and all that family that used to come to my park events, she freaked out. She called the city. The city came. They shut the hydro off at the fucking pole. This was like in October 15th or something like that. They shut the hydro off at the pole, people, for the whole complex. So what did my landlord, the mother who said she owned the house, that lived where the breaker box was, as they were flipping it back and forth, stealing my fucking hydro as they were running their fucking grow-op, right behind my laundry room that smelled like bad mold because of their moldy fucking dresser to hide the grow-op, the smell, that is. They had run a cord from the neighbors, so they had the hydro, but we didn't. For 12 days, 14 days. Finally, I had to go to the city and write a letter and demand to speak to the mayor to turn on the fucking hydro, because John and Joan were sitting in there. John was in his 70s, I suppose. Joan was like in her late 60s, freezing their ass off, right? In 50-degree fucking weather at night, 60 during the day, no lights, right? Going into the 12th, 13th day, and nobody's doing nothing. So anyway, the city, nobody took responsibility for that, people. No. The city tried to blame the fire department because they called the fire department who brought the police. So it was just the city, the fire department, and the police at the pole as they turned off the hydro to the whole complex. And they left it turned off until I finally went to City Hall and had a hissy fit. And that was like 13, 14 days later after the fact. I had to put Tisha and Shimei and pay somebody to look after them at Old Gateway Place for those days because they were just too young. All my big fish, Cosmos, whatever, I had big fish, they all died. Right? I'm running around begging for hot water, looking for hot water so Joan and John can have a hot coffee because they're freezing their asses. And then when they finally did turn on the fucking hydro, nobody took any responsibility for it. The city says that it was the fire department that did it. The fire department says that it was the city that fucking did it. The cop says, well, we don't know. We were just there. We don't even know why we were there. It wasn't a civil matter. Right? Because it was just a fucking gay, hey, just whatever. And then I moved in here. And they had the same, oh yeah, so this fucking heroin electrician that was busting up all the walls, he took, you know, those curly light bulbs that have mercury in them, and he busted up a whole bunch of them in the fucking laundry room and in the basement suite, which by this point I kind of had for Sierra, right? And he left it there, right? He fucking left it there, people. another 2 weeks go by, and I'm getting all paranoid with these busted fluorescent mercury-filled light bulbs busted all over in the laundry room because you can't fucking use it because there's no hydro or whatever, right? Right? And then, you know, you go down the stairs, you go into that, and then you can get into the laundry room versus going outside and going all around. And fucking those same mercury busted up fucking light bulbs were in there. It's 2 weeks go by, you know, and right, no hydro, whatever, and finally I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up because nobody came to clean it up, right? So I exposed myself to a whole bunch of fucking mercury to keep my family safe as we sat there in the fucking dark, freezing our asses off. Okay? And then, when the hydro did finally come back on, and I mentioned it to the fucking landlord, she said, well, why didn't you just leave it? Because it's been there for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. It was like 3 weeks, right? He did it when the lights went out, and it sat there, and then the lights came on, and it still fucking sat there, and it was unacceptable, because there's mercury in these things, so I had to put myself in there cleaning that shit up, because nobody was coming, right? And don't forget, they were mad at me, because it was all my fault that I called the city, because I almost got electrocuted from their negligence, all right? And plus they had to dismantle their fucking grow op. And they did that at 4 o'clock in the morning, loading up the truck. And I heard a bunch of mumbling and bumbling, and I went outside. I looked over the fucking rail, and there was that long fucking junky fucking heroin fucking electrician with his funky fucking beard, with his little fucking turban on, loading up the fucking truck with all the shit that they emptied out from that little shed that was right connected to my fucking laundry room of their grow op paraphernalia with the big, right, bins and like blue water jug things and whatever they were growing their shit in. I seen him at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then he rolled off. So they never got held accountable because the city gave them enough time to fucking do it. You see, that's the thing. The city gave them enough time to clear it fucking out. And the guy tried to fucking kill me with his mercury. If they weren't trying to fucking kill me with their fucking water being electrified with the fucking water spraying into the freaking garage. For all I know, that fucking Bobby could have peeled it off and poked it in that and ran off and it just sat and just waited for the drama to unfold. Right? He used to holler and scream, because he'd have like withdrawal with not having the heroin, and along come at 4 or 5, 3 o'clock in the morning the fucking drug dealer and deliver it to him right in front of my fucking house. As the daughter to the mother of the house that lived in the basement would roll up in her fucking Hummer. Do you know how expensive Hummers are? At 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, if she wasn't doing it during the fucking day, just to flex her fucking muscles. Who knows what the hell she was doing with her fucking Hummer there at 3 o'clock in the morning. But it was the same damn Hummer that would roll up during the day when they were pretending to be fucking honorable landlords. Yeah, okay. Stealing tenant hydros. Yeah, getting your fucking crazy uncle with his heroin addiction busting up fucking light bulbs so it puts mercury in the whole environment, and then just leave it there so that your tenant gives up and gives in and cleans up because she's worried about her own kids. She's worried about Uncle John. She's worried about anybody that's in that fucking house. Who else was going to clean it except me? And then have the audacity to turn around and say, oh, you cleaned it? Well, you should have just left it. I would have came. Yeah, no, you had 3 fucking weeks to come and do it, but you didn't fucking do it because that wasn't the agenda. And then the paint that was in that fucking house was the same fucking color paint that was in the fucking hall of this house. But I didn't see it when I first was shown the house because they rushed me through it so fast. But when you've got the same god-awful, ugly paint in the same, like in 2 houses, the Ball landlords, B-A-L, Ball, that was their last name. And then the Gills, but they got the same color fucking paint in their houses. That tells you it's the same fucking people who do the repairs or whatever they do in these houses because they have access to the same materials. And because the Balls knew I liked doing yard work because I tried to do something with their fucking little weedy patch of grass. I painted their fucking foyer that was like you don't even know. I painted their fucking porch, people. I painted their fucking foyer. I did so much fucking work in that house when I first moved in, but it took a while to figure out that my hydro was being jacked. It took a while to figure out, right, that Bobby was looking down the fucking bathroom vent, literally spying on people sitting on a fucking toilet. Whether we had hydro in that main bathroom or whether we didn't, because there was times they would take our hydro and make us pay for that hydro as they flipped the fucking script, because in the walls, that's why the city made them fucking open up the walls, because they had rewired everything, where it was just a fuck of a breaker to flip one on or to redirect the hydro or whatever, however they fucking did it. Okay? And then I moved in here. So you can't expect what's happening here to be much different, because first of all, they used the same fucking workers to paint the same color of paint on the two properties, rental properties. Right? And the heroin electrician, he was a heroin addict, and so was Bobby. And they used to have their drug dealers roll up at 3, 4 in the morning selling Bobby his dope, because he'd fucking cry out, oh, because he was in pain from the withdrawal. Now, do I think the Gills are fucking strung out on heroin? No, I don't. But who do you think runs the fucking drugs in this community? Bikers? Oh, sure, they run a little bit, but they don't run it all, people. Hell no. Hell no. Regardless, I'm going to put a dollar value on my time, on my son's time. I'm going to put a dollar value on my time for the last 12 years that I've been in this yard. I'm going to put a dollar value on the things that have been destroyed that I can document, whether through video that got destroyed because of the porch not being fixed correctly, or whether in the yard because there was no proper storage of any kind until I finally fucking built it. I'm just saying. Or whether it's being thrown out in the past or in the present in terms of what my son is now doing. I'm going to tally it up. And hopefully this time next year I'll be able to see. Hopefully I won't be out on the streets or maybe tucked away like a dirty secret in some old folks home, because my landlady seems to think I need rest at 63 years old. She's 84. She can be a tyrant, but I get tucked away like a dirty secret because I'm a problem. I don't want to be a criminal. I don't want to go out of my way to hurt people so I can get rich, or even have a comfortable life for that matter. You know, I don't need a whole bunch of money to have my family love me, because they're either going to love me or they're not. Nope. And with what happened with Uncle John, the ones that got Joan's life insurance policy and John's, they didn't do it for love. They didn't get it because they loved Joan. Right? Because they didn't. You see, that's the thing. That's why she came over here. They ignored her. And she didn't want to be abandoned in an old folks' home all by herself, being ignored. So she pleaded with John to come over here. But the only way that could happen was if she had a support system, because she was already being designated long-term care facility. They were taking away her assisted living. But by coming here, she got an extra 3 years with John to recapture her marriage, and then she got 1 year of a death warrant sitting up in an old folks home waiting for December of 2014, because when she went in 2013 in December, the doctor told her, you only got 1 year to live. You'll be dead this time next year. And sure enough, like clockwork, within 12 months she was fucking dead. And that's when Eleanor showed up. Took her body, left everything else behind, hid away her will, because Joan gave it to her, right, to look after, not to me, right, or to John, but, you know, John was in the will, And the sister took it upon herself to not tell John that he inherited money from Joan, even though he kind of suspected it, but he didn't want to ask because he didn't want to look like he loved Joan for money, so therefore he stayed quiet. And because he stayed quiet and didn't ask, they didn't tell him. And they waited for him to either die, so that they would never have to tell him because he was dead, or they waited for him to get sick and end up in the hospital because he was by this time 76 years old, so you never know, right? That's all it takes is anything, right, at that age, right? And sure enough, the minute he got in there, 3 days later, or a day later, or whatever the fuck it was, I was recording with him, doing that interview, while he's telling me to fucking fight and get him the hell out of there. Because he already seen it coming. But they kept him doped up, lied to him, said it was just a calcium pill, and then conspired for 40 days to get his mail illegally transferred to Eleanor, so that once she got a hold of his banking information through a credit card statement, she came in, pulled the sister card, holding $1 million life insurance policy that he inherited from Joan, right? And because she worked for the province as a senior upper management employee within the nursing field for the inoculation program for all healthcare workers in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and had been employed for 40 years, her seniority gave her the right to commit heinous crimes against innocent people as one stage to dismantle the whole family, so that Mrs. Gill, at 84 years old, can come in and evict a half a house. But in this situation, it's a yard where she's telling us, but my son, not me, but my son, to work for free to get rid of everything. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. And she's hiding behind the city, saying it's their fault, while her son is accusing me of abusing her because she's old and having a nervous breakdown with this. Because she has to be a bad landlord and destroy everything in the yard so that it can look good, so that she can make more money, hoping that her family will love her even more when she finally does die. Because they will always remember that money came from her. If she didn't do what she did, there would be no money for them. No houses for them. But it took her to destroy my family for them to love her. For them to love her. Because if she was broke and had no houses and had no money, they wouldn't even put her in an old folks home because she couldn't afford to fucking pay for it under the under the British Columbia Canadian fucking government, because it's too easy to throw them out onto the streets, including my neighbor who is 70 years old. And, yeah. So don't be surprised why Sierra never got no housing. She didn't even get a module, for crying out loud.